Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel. Tap the notification bell. I'd appreciate it majorly. So, just following this story about the shooting at the Walmart distribution center in Red Bluff, California, which is in Northern California, 120 miles so north of Sacramento. Yeah, that started I think around 3:30 p.m. this afternoon, California time, which is about it's now 6:15. So about 3 hours ago or so when it started, and so far there are two people that were killed and four others that were either suffered gunshot wounds or were injured and that are in fair condition. Two people were killed. I don't know if they were shot and killed or injured other ways because there's reports of at least of one person, I believe a woman, being hit by him in his car, possibly run over, her legs run over or something like that, because he rammed his vehicle. And you can see in this video here, there's a photojournalist who's on the scene afterwards. His name is Mike Daly. Basically live streaming for a half hour or so, describing what's going on and trying to get as much information. Actually, when he's live streaming this, I don't think he was even aware that people had been killed yet. It was all just brand new, even though the shooter had been neutralized by this point. When the police arrived on the scene, I think by 3:30, the individual immediately started firing at them. There was two Red Bluff Police Department deputies or officers and one sergeant who showed up there, and I believe they shot him in the chest. The gunman right now is in surgery, and whether or not he's going to pull through, I don't know. So, and there's various descriptions from other. This is a Walmart distribution center. It's basically he ran his vehicle, this station wagon here, into the entrance, kind of where you clock in. It's like a shipping hub type door where you go in, something like that. And it actually caught on fire as well when he rammed it into the entrance there. That's why you see the fire department there, as well as the car covered in like black suit like stuff. So, and he has not been identified yet, the gunman. Nobody has at this stage. But one other employee described him as somebody that was a former employee who had recently been laid off. And like last Wednesday, I don't know if that means 3 days ago or the week before last Wednesday. But he also described him as somebody that lived in Shingletown. And also earlier today, about 4 hours before this shooting incident took place, there was a shooting in Shingletown where 3 people were killed, and the suspect in that shooting, wasn't in custody. So whether or not these two incidents are connected, we don't know, and I don't see most of the outlets aren't necessarily, except for like one, aren't necessarily tying the two shootings together. But I would be stunned if these aren't related. I mean, you have one that's 4 hours before, with 3 people that were killed. I don't know what called police to that. I'm sure there was just reports of gunfire. I don't know. And the police showed up. 2 people were deceased on the scene. Another one was taken to the hospital and died either on the way to the hospital or at the hospital. And we don't know the identities of those persons and whether or not they were related to whatever suspect that they, believe fled the scene. And there were reports that he may have fled in like a blue pickup truck, which is totally different from. So maybe they're not related. Maybe this incident in Shingletown has nothing to do with this shooting at Walmart 4 hours later. That's not far away. But the fact that the employee is a former employee who was laid off last Wednesday and lived in Shingletown, that's a pretty big coincidence, I would think. Shingletown is right here. In fact, Highway 44, I believe, was closed, for part of the day while they were investigating this homicide where the 3 people were shot and killed. And it happened. I mean, this woman right here is also live streaming from earlier in the day, and she was talking about, because she had been there for like 4 hours before she did this live stream, and she was referencing another reporter from her ABC 7 affiliate or whatever whatever the name of it is, that was on the scene at in Red Bluff at the Walmart distribution center of that shooting and whether or not these two incidents were related. But it says that it happened at Gale Lane and Dersh Road, and that's where that young reporter is right there. Officials are continuing to work. This is the shooting earlier in the day in Shingletown. Officials are continuing to work at the scene of a deadly Shingletown shooting, have confirmed that 3 people have died as a result of the violent incident. 2 of the victims passed away at the scene of the shooting, which happened near the end of Gale Lane off Dersh Road, while the 3rd victim died after being transported from the location to a nearby hospital. Although earlier radio traffic indicated the suspect or suspects may have fled the scene in a blue pickup truck, authorities say the suspect is not yet in custody and have not said if the suspect's identity or whereabouts are known. So, over at the Sacramento Bee, this is just some of the witnesses of what happened. They described the shooter as a white male with black hair, wearing a green and gray T-shirt and black shorts. The suspect began his attack after ramming his vehicle into the facility where employees clock in. After the vehicle caught fire, the man began shooting at workers, according to authorities and multiple witness reports. Red Bluff Police, 2 officers and 1 sergeant, were the first to make it to the shipping hub's parking lot, where they said they encountered the suspect firing rounds into the air. Deputies and CHP, California Highway Patrol officers, arrived just as Red Bluff officers returned fire on the man. The ordeal was over in less than 45 minutes after officers shot the suspect in the upper chest, according to radio communications. It says that he's in surgery up here, I believe. 2 Red Bluff police officers opened fire on the suspect, who was carrying an AR-type weapon and had fired multiple shots at the officers. Authorities said officials at the scene told the Record Searchlight in Reading that the man was in surgery. The incident began just after 3 p.m. And, it describes other witnesses, employees, working there, running from the shooting and seeing people on the ground either injured or already shot and killed as they were fleeing, down the hallway of that doorway. The witness told Red Bluff Daily News one of the victims was a woman who was shot as she tried to flee the building. There was also a fire at the facility, which is located at 10800 block of Highway 99. A man also reported to dispatchers that his leg was run over when the shooter ran a vehicle into the facility, according to the Record Searchlight. I thought it was a woman that had gotten killed or shot or hit and ran over, but I guess it was a man. So, like I said, there's still no identity on the shooter, and whether or not they're connected to the shooting in Shingleton is not known as well. The suspect was described as being in a white vehicle that had wedged into the building. The suspect had been shot in the chest by about 3:45 p.m. Scott Thamacanty, an employee at the facility's receiving center, said he heard the shooter fire from a semi-automatic weapon. It went on and on. I don't even know how many times he fired. I just know it was a lot. Thamacanty and others started running for their lives. He saw people lying on the ground as he went. Thamacanty told the newspaper that he didn't know his identity. Fellow employee Franklin Lister told the New York Times he had just started work when a coworker ran down the hallway shouting, "Active gunfire, active shooter." And I don't even know if I read this, that an employee from Walmart Distribution Center in Red Bluff tells our reporter that he believes the shooter was a former employee who was laid off last Wednesday. The employee says the man lives in Shingletown, where another shooting took place 4 hours before. And that's pretty much everything that I know. And that's the story there, man. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below, and I will see you in the next video. Later, man.